nose breathing, nasal breathing. In Renaissance Fitness, I'm quite well known for this, especially among people that work with me personally as my clients. But I had a few questions and people respond to the breath protocols that I put out over the last couple of days, asking me questions specifically, why breathe through the nose compared to breathe through the mouth, what the differences are. I've actually written a pretty detailed article that you can go to my website and read. The link's in my bio, that kind of lists just everything that we know. But I just wanted to give you guys the principles and the concepts behind nasal breathing compared to breathing through your mouth. So if you picture us humans as a evolutionary, biological animal that has evolved over millions of years, and then we kind of think about the nose and the mouth specifically, and from that perspective, the nose has evolved primarily as part of the respiratory system. And we know that by looking at its structure. So the things that are specifically inside the nose tell us that it is there designed to be part of the respiratory system. The mouth is primarily part of the digestive system. And we know that because there's teeth, there's a tongue, there's saliva and various other structural things inside your mouth that tell us that it's part of your digestive system. Of course, there's overlap. Of course, there is in pretty much everything in your body. Nearly everything in your body has dual function and double function and things like that. But it's the priority that is important. So the question then becomes, okay, why can we breathe through the mouth? And the reason is we were designed to breathe through our mouths when faced with an extremely stressful situation, and we needed to activate our sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight response to survive. So if you imagine us on the savannah 60,000 years ago, and you imagine a lion jumping out of a bush, you will have experienced this reaction when somebody jumps out from behind a door at you. Your first reaction is this. Okay, and that's two reasons. Firstly, that activates your sympathetic nervous system. So it gets you ready to fight something, or it gets you ready to run for a very long time. The second part of that is pure volume. So breathing through your mouth, you can breathe more air in and you can breathe more air out. So the concept is you get more oxygen in to deliver to your muscles to work. And also you dump more carbon dioxide, which means that you avoid the production of lactic acid, so you can run for longer if you do choose to run. So from that perspective, that's primarily why we have the ability to breathe through our mouths. So in everyday life, we should be breathing through our noses for the vast, vast majority of the time. And if you are sitting at home watching TV, breathing through your mouth, sleeping, breathing through your mouth, training, breathing through your mouth all the time, then all you're doing is just ramping up this sympathetic dominance inside your body and your nervous system. So nasal breathing inhibits that, because nasal breathing is linked to your parasympathetic nervous system. So that's the first concept from an evolutionary perspective. The second kind of thing I want to speak to you about is there's a bunch of physiological processes that happen when we breathe through the nose that actually don't happen when you breathe through the mouth. And just for the purposes of this video, the air gets warmed, it gets humidified, and it gets filtered. So from an immune perspective, amidst a global respiratory pandemic, you really want to be keeping that mouth shut as much as you can, because there is a load of immune response that happens to the air that gets breathed in through our nose that nothing happens to it when you breathe through the mouth. So if you are wanting to best protect yourself at this time, I would suggest breathing through your nose as much as possible. In terms of the warmth and the humidity that adds to the air, that's because by the time the air reaches your alveoli, it needs to be at body temperature in order for gaseous exchange to happen. So in order for oxygen to get put into your bloodstream and carbon dioxide to get taken out, it needs the air to be at body temperature. They did research where breathing through your nose, by the time the air has hit the back of your throat when you take an inhale through the nose, it was warmed from 6 degrees to 30 degrees. And by the time it reached your alveoli, it was at 37. That warmth or humidity doesn't happen when you breathe through the mouth, okay? So that's the general concept. And to sum it up in a sentence, it's that when you breathe through your nose, a lot of shit happens that needs to happen for you to function properly. When you breathe through your mouth, that stuff doesn't happen. The last I want to end this with is that was kind of talking about general life. In fitness, this can get taken too far where people they're always breathing through their nose in every single training session they do. But most people are at the complete opposite end of the spectrum. If you walk into any gym anywhere, what you will see is mouths open, and you'll see people breathing through the mouth. And from what I've just told you, you can now kind of guess when you should be breathing through your mouth in a fitness session. That's when you're doing a high intensity workout, when you actually want to get some intensity out of a session because you want to activate your sympathetic nervous system. You want your fight or flight response to be activated. But if you are just doing some aerobic conditioning, or your goal is just to go to the gym and move and do an hour of cardio, 100% you should be trying to keep your nose as your primary source of breath, keeping that mouth closed. Reasons for that, again, are in my article. But that summarizes pretty much everything I wanted to say. So in the words of a guy called George Catlin, who wrote a book back in 1861, shut your mouth and save your life. Cheers.